Welcome to the handover for the Knaus Sport and Fun. We're going to begin on the outside with the main garage door. This is unlocked using the standard key. Just inside this garage door, you'll see the access to the bed, which we can fold up. We'll talk about that later on. Lying on the floor at the moment is a headboard, which shields the bed area when you open the door as an alternative. You've also got your jack and the handle that we use for the motor mover system. We'll talk about the motor mover at the end of the handover. Externally on this side you have your water fill point. So pop this outer door up, key in, twist, and then you can use a hose pipe or a filler to go into that main tank. On the other side of the caravan you've got your gas locker, so key in to unlock the door. Inside you'll find space for 2 cylinders. You've got 1 cylinder installed in here at the moment. Gas system has a crash valve on it, so when you turn the gas supply on you may find that you need to depress this switch in to allow the gas flow to go through and feed through the regulator and into the rest of the van. There are wedges in here for securing the wheels when the van's parked up, and also you've got your winding handle in here for winding the caravan legs down. There's a smaller access door on this side which you can obviously feed into as well. This model features an external gas barbecue point, so there'll be a little fitting which goes into here, which you push in and connect to your appliance, and by turning the yellow tap through 90 degrees so that it's in line, that allows then the gas to go through to that unit. You have an external access flap for the toilet, so you would have already closed the toilet bowl slider. To actually access the cassette, pull up on the green tab at the base and slide the whole body of the cassette right out. On campsites you have a collection point for these to go into, so you take the black cap off the top, tip the whole unit up, press this green button at the top. That allows the airflow to go into the chamber so that the waste can come out of the base. All right. Use a base chemical, typically green for the Highlands or the green sachets, mixed with about 2 litres of water, and then swill it around back inside and it will go back in ready for use. So on the back of the Sport and Fun you have a ladder. You can climb up obviously with all 4 legs down so that the van is stable. The roof is strong enough to stand on for maintenance. There are bars up there which you could secure lightweight items to as well. The main door can be opened via the key to gain access into the van, like so. All right, we'll go into the rest of the interior sections in a minute. One more thing that I need to show you on the outside is your mains hookup. So pull up the flap. For the mains to be connected, this needs to come back to 90 degrees and then the lead plugged in accordingly and then connect to your mains supply. The Knaus door has a split function on it, so when you open the door there's a lower handle which when you turn it to 90 degrees enables you to lock the base section and obviously release the top to it as well. In addition to that you've also got a fly screen, so with both hands draw that across and return. Just inside the caravan door you have your 12 volt and mains display control panel. So to turn on the 12 volt within the van, press the left hand button. For using the internal water pump you will need to switch on the right hand, and then there is a battery level indicator as well as a fresh water level indicator depending on which way you rock the switch. Because we're currently plugged into the mains, you'll see a little amber light on up at the top. When you go underneath the corner of the furniture in the front of your Sport and Fun, you'll find your onboard fresh water tank. For winter storage, possibly for travelling, it's advisable to drain the tank out by removing this bung. When the bung goes back in, I'll try and illustrate, you have to turn the handle and it will basically cause the bung to compress. So we'll slacken it off slightly, we'll put the tab back in and then just turn the handle a couple of times and it should be nice and secure. You should be able to lift it out as I've just done there. It needs to go in a couple more turns. Also underneath the furniture you've got your leisure battery, so that's connected up for the use of the motor mover, which is located there. At the far end you've got your therm electric water heater. On this, there are two drain taps, one for the general plumbing and a second one which you need to open up to drain the water heater off. Again, especially for storage through the winter months. Turn the tabs all the way down until there is resistance, and that then secures, and you can refill the system and reprime it if needs be. If you decide to fit a water filter, Knaus have built in this accessory component section here. So you've got two inline taps. So at the moment, the cold water feed is going right through the whole vehicle. You can disconnect this section and isolate these two taps. A filter cartridge can be loaded in, and then the whole lot can be reconnected for water filtration. A little known fact about these is you've got the L-shaped lounge at the front. Is this board can be pulled out to give you additional storage or load through space from the rest of the van. When you open the drawer below the sink, you'll come across your individual gas isolator taps. These are all in line applying to those appliances. So you have the hob, the room heating system and the fridge. If you rotate them through 90 degrees, isolates the supply to that individual appliance. Quick way of making sure that you've got an adequate gas supply is just to run some gas off on the hob. So if you've recently changed over a cylinder, use a gas match or a lighter, hold it in for a few seconds. On a bright sunny day against these stainless steel backgrounds, it can be quite difficult to see the flame. Run across all the individual hob burners, like so. It's worth noting at this point there's no isolator on these lids, so you need to make sure that the burners are off and cooled before you close this down. So in the demonstration we've already filled up the fresh water system. Turn the tap to the cold position with water pump on. It should draw water directly through from your main tank. If there's a delay, it's just purging through. For the hot water system, it may take a little longer if it's been drained down, so expect to wait maybe a minute or so for a consistent supply of cold water to emerge from that tap. So once you've then got the consistent flow coming through, then you can go about repeating the process with the vanity in it and the shower, and then start heating the hot water up. The hot water switch is located in the wardrobe, mains operated. Turn on the green switch. It'll take around about 20 to 40 minutes for that tank supply to heat up to around about 50 degrees centigrade. Below the wardrobe floor, you've got your mains RCD box. So perhaps prior to connecting to the mains, you might want to turn these systems off. You can do a system check to make sure that the mains is safe for you to use by depressing the yellow button and then grey switch back up. On the adjacent side, you've got your battery charger and also your fuse holders for the internal 12-volt systems. You have a gas fire with a blown air function on it. So for the gas fire to operate, turn the dial all the way around from the minimum to the maximum position. You'll hear the igniter clicking away. Push and hold down for a couple of seconds. And if you hold your head about 45 degrees to this slot, you should find that you get your gas coming through. In addition to that, you've got a circulation fan, and what that circulation fan will do is turn on via these outer switch. And you have an automatic and a manual setting. You can increase and decrease the speed, so it's drawing the airflow in over the top of the matrix and blowing it out through the outlets that are located around the van. In warm weather conditions, you can leave the gas fire switched off, and you could use the fan on its own just to recirculate the airflow within. Depth fridge in this model is a two-way system, so press and hold on this for a couple of seconds and you will see a series of lights light up, and then it will set on itself. For the gas operation, it's automatic ignition. If this comes on and stays solid, then it's working it on the gas operation. You can change settings by pressing and holding on the recess switch and change it back to the mains operation if you so wish, and also adjust the thermostat setting as well. Having completed that, you're now operating into the mains mode. So the cassette toilet, you can move the seat position if you so wish. Pull forward on the silver lever to allow the waste to go straight through. and then your flush water comes from your onboard fresh water tank and goes around the inside of the bowl. There are other indicator lights which may come on, indicating that the cassette hasn't been properly reinserted, or that the cassette is either half or nearly full. With the shower operation, you have the pull-out drawer at the base. As well as having a shower curtain, on the shower curtain, using something like a bicycle pump, you have the ability to inflate this inner tube, which then gives you a more secure enclosure around the shower tray base. All the side windows operate in the same method, so you'll need to release the latches. There's an inner button on the lowest latch. They're on ratchets, so you'll hear a click as they push out. Set it to your desired position. To close the window, go beyond that ratchet position and then bring it back in. You can set it onto a ventilated position, but for traveling, they need to be on their innermost latch to make them secure. The central roof light has two catches onto it. Each one of them has a little button that you need to depress in, and then you should be able to, with your fingers, easily push it up on the gas jets. However, you can pull down on the handle and set the handle in onto a latch position internally, or just before the roof light hatch is fully closed, there is a lower position on the E, and it enables you to leave it in a ventilated. For travelling, it needs to be locked down into the lowermost position. For the motor mover to work, one of the first jobs that you'll need to do is to connect the towing electrics back into its socket, which is mounted onto the side. So push in nice and firmly and then twist so that the cable connects up properly and securely. Turn on the side of the remote control by pushing the switch up towards the O button. You'll see a very faint green light come on at the top, and then when you push down on the two lower buttons, it should automatically engage your motor mover, and you'll see the mover rolling back towards the wheel line. It will stop when it's found the secure position. With the rollers on position, you can now release the handbrake because you're securing the movement of the van against the rollers. For straight line operation, if you push the slider towards the handset, then it will engage the rollers in a forward direction, or if you push the lever back, it will engage it in a left to reverse. You can then use the swivel position to actually physically turn the van around, driving one wheel in one direction, one wheel the other accordingly. And you can use a combination of the forward sliding motion or the rear sliding motion and the turn in order to give you the control to position the van where you need to accordingly. You have approximately a 10-minute sort of operating time, so it's not designed to take the caravan too far off its main pitch, but it should give sufficient torque for moving on gravel or wet grass, and enable you to then position the van behind the back of your tow vehicle, ready for towing. To disengage the handset, make sure that the handbrake is on first of all. You are then depressing the two upper buttons, and after a few seconds you should see and hear the rollers release. Turn your handset off on the side, and you're now ready to tow.